I didn't see that.
Monday? We have that one item, which is 493.
Yeah, thanks. I'll be happy.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning. Just waiting for Mr.
Good morning.
Good morning. How was your long weekend? Your long weekend. We started.
Is that when the bill came?
This one we
Their date on that thing, but that shows like we took 5 months to pay 'em.
well, we have the stamp and
Okay,
everything. I think, and there's email traffic on it.
okay.
As well. On these, I know we're well in last. Where's the consent right now only has one. But what we're gonna do is place whenever we get the invoice. If we know that we have the PO, we have the money available, we're gonna place it here because what we're running into is don't hit that same. Yes, a lot. We only got like. I mean,
No. So,
No.
Morning. We want to welcome you this morning to our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, May the 27th, 2014. Present are Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Anybody sign up for open forum?
No, sir.
Next item is a consent agenda.
Everything in order?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 4.
Item 4, approval and concurrence with TxDOT on proposed state highway improvements, FM 493 South, CSJ 0863010047. This is in precinct number 1. They're getting the plans approved to go to TxDOT for advertising for construction.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
We have nothing under closed session unless the board wishes to entertain one.
Nothing?
No, sir.
All right. Need a motion to adjourn.
So
Move.
moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Jeff.
Thank you. We're going to be in recess until 9:30.
I know that. And then somebody who should know this, Celeste McMahon.
Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to our meeting of today of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, May the 27th, 2014. Present are Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for Memorial Days, a time whenever we all get together to realize and pray for all the people who have given up their lives for this country and for our freedom. We ask you, dear Lord, to always keep us in mind. I know you're allowing rain all over different places, but I believe we need more rain for our crops in this area. So please bless us with whatever we need. We ask you to bless these people here today who are all working for the county. Bless the commissioners and the judge and help all of us work together to make good decisions. We ask this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
our consent agenda. Any concerns?
I do not have any, Judge, unless somebody else has any concerns. I recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. On our open forum, first presenter is Maria Gomez. Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es María Gómez, voluntaria de Lupe y representante del proyecto Lucha. Por sus siglas en inglés significa Acción para el Uso de Terrenos en las Colonias. Tenemos algunos temas principales en los que nos enfocamos. Son infraestructura, viviendas dignas, uso de terreno, drenaje y luces en las colonias. Somos un grupo de representantes de colonias y ciudades del Valle de Río Grande, colaborando con expertos en los temas, organizaciones comunitarias locales y otros aliados en la creación de un plan regional para mejorar las condiciones de vida en las comunidades del Valle del Río Grande. Gracias.
Hi. So she said her name is Maria Gomez. She is a volunteer at Lupe, which is La Unión del Pueblo Entero. We're a nonprofit that serves low-income residents and colonia residents. She is here representing the project Lucha, which stands for Land Use Colonia Housing Action. We are members from Colonias and Barrios, from Lupe and from Arise, and together we are studying four topics, which include drainage, public lighting, land use, and urban planning, or regional planning. And we work with a team of experts that is preparing us in these topics, and we hope to get, when time needed, your assistance in passing these initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then we have
Yo creo que es importante trabajar juntos porque gracias a Dios primeramente y a un grupo de personas que trabajaron con un programa, incluyendo al señor Palacios, yo pude obtener una vivienda digna después de tanto trabajar en el campo y trabajar en las comunidades. Gracias.
el señor Palacios.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, and so she's saying that through the assistance of a program and through Mr. Tito Palacios, she was able to get a house. And she's very happy for that. And she's very happy, and she hopes that we can do that for more residents in the valley.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman.
Good morning.
I was sued for divorce in Hidalgo County. Briefly, the petition for divorce went this way. The judge determined our community property was excess land with no value, which could not be divided. That was the decision for our community property of 80 acres of land with a lake. Since the submission of the petition for divorce, our community property has never been released from the control of the 275th District Court. Concerning our community property between Joe and me, nothing was done and nothing was completed. When Joe died, the law is the case must be dismissed, which returns our community property to us. The court refuses to dismiss the case. For a divorce settlement, the judge issued a division of $650,000 of yet to be earned non-existent rent. The rent and our community property are not synonyms. They are two different and very separate entities with two distinct values. Both of these two assets belong to Joe Billman and me. The court did not include our community property in the divorce settlement. If Joe and I are forced to take the court's divorce settlement of non-existent rent, our community property has been abandoned to the court. I appealed this judgment to the 13th Appellant Court. The 13th Appellant Court affirmed the lower court's decision of a division of $650,000 for the divorce settlement with libel remarks that I am mentally ill, not based on any hearing or testimony from any medical professional anywhere, but because, according to the 13th Appellant Court, I say I am, which is flat out made up baloney. After this opinion from the appellant court was issued, a different judge was summoned. Why? Because the appellant court affirmed the 275th District Court judge's decision concerning the divorce settlement of $650,000 of yet to be earned rent. For the 275th Court to deal with our actual community property, a different judge is necessary. The secondary judge awarded Joe all of the community property and my $266,500 divorce settlement. I get nothing. For the purpose of placing our intact community property into a corporation, one named Billman Real Estate LTD was organized. A different lower court judge cannot overturn the ruling of the 13th Appellate Court. Other than entanglement of our community property, the court accomplished and completed nothing. The 13th Appellate Court ruling stands. The divorce settlement is a decision of $650,000, which was never brought to conclusion because it didn't exist. Joe died. Therefore, Joe and I still own equally and undivided our community property pending in the 275th District Court, waiting for dismissal. Instead, the court is selling our land, not from the owners, Joe and me, but through the Billman Real Estate LTD, with what I have been told are secret owners. Joe and I have sold none of our property. The court cannot sell our community property and give the money to other people. That is not done in this country. This case has not been right, it has not been fair, it has not been honest, it is not fitting to the law, and it is certainly not justice. Dismissal of this case is essential because dismissal frees me from police enforced false imprisonment and our property from court control, and it is the law. Thank you very much.
Next presenter is Juan Cerda Jr.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Me and my neighbor, which was going to be the next presenter, but we're up here together with Joey Vasquez, and we're bringing up a restriction, building restriction code for our property, which is Margot Estate. We have a neighbor in the process right now, which the planning department has not given a permit for building of any of business or residential.
Before you go on, sir, where is this property at?
It's on Precinct 3 up there in 3 Mile and Moorfield Road.
Okay, sir.
We have gone with Beto Garza, the planning department. They have been very helpful with us trying to resolve this problem, but the gentleman still insists after we have building restrictions of what can be put out there. And he's still continuing putting a pipe rack. And it's a 2-acre lot, and he's putting caliche all the way from the front to the back, and it's a residential. I don't know what else we can do to continue to stop this, from the depreciation of our homes there.
If I can read you, excuse me.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Some of the restrictions for that.
Can you get close to the mic so we can hear you?
If I can read you some of the restrictions, just briefly. No commercial building, junkyard, salvage yard. Salvage, in this case, could be that pipe, that he wants to salvage to sell or something, But he has it on that piece of property.
Mr. Cecin, Raul, I think they're talking about restrictions on land use in a county.
On the deeds, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been dealing with them for a while, and Mr. Arredondo from my office, my plan supervisor, has been advising them on the protocols that have to be followed, and we've been trying to work as best as we can within the law currently to follow up on the application. We haven't permitted it yet, and there's some issues there that we're addressing. We had the fire marshal involved, and he's also given his opinion, so we're doing the best we can within the law to try to discourage that type of use. However, nothing has taken place yet. He's applying for a residential
But there are no
RV.
restrictions in place to prevent that.
There's the restrictions on the deeds, is my understanding, and those deed restrictions are enforceable by the landowners that are encumbered.
Right. They have to hire their own lawyer and go in
That is
there.
correct, Judge, yes. And we have advised them of that, and we've been trying to work whatever we can at the county level to discourage them from that happening, yes, sir.
All right.
We've been working with them.
Yes, sir. And the only problem on this is, I know the gentleman is upset because down the road, which the planning department back in the day issued a building permit for lot 2, 3, and 4, which was not supposed to be given to this gentleman. But by the time we got to that point and tried to stop them, they said that they couldn't reverse that permit because it was issued out already as a business permit. They said, well, the restrictions say, no business any kind should be put into this, estates or the lots.
Sir, can I say this? Even though they give him a permit for residential, still he can't have all that, you know, because he's got the restrictions. You understand? And they're here in the deed, you know?
Right.
It
And
appears
it
that-
consists of salvage, junkyard, even garbage, you know, all that stuff. And, I mean,
At this stage, we can't involve ourselves in discussing it with you because the law doesn't allow us to, but you appear to be needing a lawyer that'll take you to a district judge, where a district judge will make a decision one way or the other. And you need to contact someone that's knowledgeable in real estate.
Right.
You can work with Jaime Longoria. Jaime, just get their numbers and so we can talk to them later.
well, excuse me, sir, at this point, we're asking that if no permit even for residential could be given to him, so he won't continue doing all this activity, no business activity.
We can't talk about it, Mr. Vasquez. I
Okay.
really apologize, but,
That's
you know,
understandable.
we've really done more than we should be by even getting involved in this discussion. But we do want to see what we can do to help. And Mr. Longoria, they're in the back. Give him your number, and we'll set up some time and to talk to you in our planning department and try to work it out.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next presenter is Fern McClarity.
Yes, good morning. I'm sorry I don't have my normal clothes on, but I've been working the ballot board. You're proposing hourly wage increase of $10.10 an hour. I think that raising the base salary rate is wonderful if you have the money. Now, let me see if I understand the recommendation. A county that is currently overspent to the tune of $12 to $19 million, where 30% of the population cannot pay their property taxes, where the average household income is $32,400, is proposing to pay county employees more. In Hidalgo County, the federal minimum hourly salary is $7.25, as approved by Congress and implemented by President Obama. If the president wants to raise the federal minimum wage, he should go to Congress and work with them. I am sure they have a list of things they would like to discuss with them on how his administration is treating our veterans. So what you are considering is that the people who are making $7.25 an hour, they do not get vacation, do not have retirement or health care, that these people pay more so that those that do have all these benefits get a little more. The Commissioners Court obviously feels that the public will see this as support for the poor. But this is not support for the poor. If you want to support the poor, lower their taxes, eliminate fees, especially that $10 on their car tags, and use technology and streamline service. The county is proposing to increase salaries and benefits. They want to build a new courthouse, create a hospital district, improve drainage, support a medical school, a rail district, and as I said, the fees on the RMA. And some of you are fond of saying that the county tax rate has not been increased in 12 years. Unfortunately, those of us that pay taxes have seen an endless number of increases. The people of Hidalgo County now paying for the construction of highways. They may be a legal difference between taxes and fees, but the result is the same. The people have less money. Excuse me. The people must understand that an elected official cannot give you anything that he has not first taken from you. Increased taxes will come until we get new leaders that understand, or the leaders that we have can remember what it is to be poor and not being able to make your bills. Just look at the delinquent taxes and the properties that are going up and think of these people when you're spending it. Thank you.
Next presenter is Paula Villanueva, I'm sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Commissioners, Judge. My name is Paula Villanueva. I'm here with my husband, Santos Villanueva, and I'm here on behalf of my company, All Valley Waste. We have been providing residential waste service for over 10 years now. And, you know, every time I hear about the franchising or anything to do with the solid waste, I have to put a lot of close attention because that's our bread and butter. We've been in business for 10 years. We have 14 employees. And I just want to say thank you more than anything. I know that Mr. Ray Salazar and Mr. Sergio Cruz, they've always been in contact with me and my company, advising me as to the steps that are being taken. And they've been very honest with us. And of course, I also want to thank my commissioner, Mr. A.C. Cuellar. I know the last time the topic came up, he had a good question. He was concerned. He showed that he was concerned for the small waste hauler like my company. And his question was if there was anything the county could do to help us obtain more customers. That was a question that he presented to the court. I took that as an advice, really. I took that as an advice, and I made a lot of changes to my company. We are very fortunate that we have increased our business. So far this year, we have signed up over 500 new customers with a residential trash service. We just purchased a new 2015 garbage truck. And I just feel that the franchising of the solid waste will hurt small businesses like mine. We are 100% dependent on county residents. We don't have any city contracts. And of course, every time I hear about the franchising, it's just, I worry. I try not to worry about it, but, you know, when I have so many assets and loans that I need to pay, and especially a new garbage truck that I just bought, and the reason why I bought that truck was because I had seen that there was hope to stay in business, that it might not go to the franchising will not go to a major corporation. And I do hope that you decide to keep an open market so that companies like ours strive and be more proactive in getting more accounts. But if you do decide to franchise the solid waste, I hope that you will do everything possible to keep companies like mine working. Precinct number 1 is where most of my customers are. I mean, of course, I have in Mr. Palacios' district, we have 4 routes on Fridays and 2 routes on Thursdays, which means over 2,600 customers, roughly, in your area. And we're out there every day trying to sign up more customers so that maybe this will help, you know, the budget that the county is spending with the trash collection right now. I'm also thinking about other things that I can do, but of course I don't want to say that, you know. I've done a lot of things to improve my company. And we're ready to service more customers. We also have another company called Grande Dumpsters. Grande Dumpsters specializes in commercial waste. And the reason why we separated the companies was because of the same thing. The franchising will go to just residential solid waste, and Grande Dumpsters deals with commercial waste. So in hoping to stay in business, we split up the company about 2 years ago. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to stay in business. I know that this came up about 3 years ago, but in those 3 years, I purchased a 2012 truck, and now we purchased a 2015, and we also purchased a 2013 garbage truck. So we have been out there trying to establish as many customers as we can and trying to take that load off the county. Now, our prices are the lowest. I mean, we still have the same prices that we started with
saying
about
thank you,
10 years ago. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you have any questions,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is item 6A.
I'm here to
Oh,
talk
I'm
about
sorry.
the trash.
I
I'm sorry.
apologize. You didn't
Uh,
sign in.
It seems like it's so simple to me, and I'm sure it's not. Since it's taken so long and we still don't have a decision up there, I presume it's not simple. But we have 4 precincts. We have people who want to be in business doing service to our people in the county. As it is, our people in the county are being taken care of by the county, hopefully, and yet we're not doing a very good job. If we're asking them to bring it into our places where we gather it, that's not working. There's trash all over, and I will speak only for the west side, which is absolutely a disgrace. And there's trash everywhere, and if we're waiting for people to bring it in, it's not working. If the county is supposed to be picking it up, it's not working. So if you want to save money, which I thought this would, to privatize would save us money and provide better service and make a cleaner county, then I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why the bids can't go out saying this is what we need, have people pick it up or not, divide it up into 4 precincts. I don't care what you do about the semantics, but something needs to be done. We don't need to be sitting on this another 3 years. I don't understand. Of course, I don't have patience, guys. I've told you this 100 times. If I were up there, I'd move on something, but I couldn't just sit on something. Bother me.
All right. Let's move on to item 6A. Status on the activities of our Hidalgo County Veteran Service Office. May is Military Month, and there's no better way that we can honor our veterans than by doing whatever we can to assist them when they come back home. And to that end, we have a veterans officer and a veterans department that provides assistance to our veterans. And what I thought we would do this morning was allow Mr. Emilio de los Santos, our Veteran Service Officer, to make a presentation on the status of the Veterans Office. What type of assistance are we providing? Are we doing as much as we can? Can we do more? Are we behind? I mean, things of that nature. Mr. de los Santos?
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Let me first of all thank you for being so supportive with our veterans. We actually have a satellite that is in operation in the in Precinct 1, and then of course we have myself and another assistant servicing the rest of the county. We do see veterans on a daily basis. We see approximately anywhere from 125 to 150 a month, okay? And that's not counting all the phone calls that we get. Our office is mainly to provide services to our veterans that are returning back home and to our elderly veterans, World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, and so forth. We actually take time to brief them on some of the benefits they're entitled to. Hopefully that they will pursue filing a claim, which we encourage and we do for them. We do have a rate of success in filing our claims. I'm just going to give you this figure because later on, throughout the year, I will be doing a presentation on the expenditures that the VA, as far as benefits are
I'm sorry,
concerned.
what is that figure on the rate of success?
Right.
The
We see, last year, our benefits in compensation and pension, just to Hidalgo County veterans, we had about $75 million. This year, it's up to about $95 million. Okay? And that, of course, is the impact of the services that we provide to our veterans here in Hidalgo County. That's just for Hidalgo County. Texas has 1.7 million veterans. Okay? A estimated amount of veterans that reside in our county is anywhere from 35 to 40,000. And it's very difficult to, make a precise number because we have a lot of veterans out there still that haven't come forward. We do a lot of outreach. We do presentations to civic organizations. We do presentations to schools. We do presentations at the university. We coordinate and plan with some of the veterans organizations, like most of the VFWs and American Legion and so forth. But the one that we started most recently is with the veteran organizations at the university level. We're planning to spend at least one day a month to help those students that can't make it to our office, and that way we could provide their services right on site.
When you say 125 to 150, are we talking contacts, or are we talking actual claims being made?
Actual claims. And some of those are...
And how many are pending, Emilio, right now, you think?
Right now, I know that in the county we have a lot of veterans that are still pending their claim. We're going through the appeal process, which is a little bit longer. The appeal process takes about 5 years. So we try to avoid that by providing fully developed claims where all the evidence is presented and all that. But at the rate that we have increased their disabilities from 80 to 100 has been an enormous amount. And that's what.
But how many are pending at this point?
At this point, here at the county level, we know we have at least over 300 appeals.
How many?
Over 300 appeals. And those appeals are really not going anywhere. The VA has addressed the backlog, but they're now beginning to address some of the appeals. So those appeals take a little bit longer. Okay.
How many did you say veterans that you all see a month, más o menos?
We see an average of over 150 a month. Okay.
Throughout the county.
And we do a lot of consultation on the telephone with veterans that they got a response from the VA and they don't know how to respond.
How many officers do you have, veterans service officers? Just yourself and
myself, and I have an assistant that recently resigned because he got awarded 100% disability, but unemployability, which means he can't work. So we lost a good man. He knew the business and was really helping out. So I have that vacancy, but I understand also at the training that I attended in Houston, the assistant service officer that we have in Precinct 1 will be retiring in July. So, we just have to, start the interview process and try to get, the new officers in, get them trained, and get them going. Okay. Meanwhile, we continue to be flooded at the office. Right now, I'm probably booked for the next 3 weeks solid.
Is that for sure he's going to retire in July?
That was his indication. Okay. So.
Thank you, sir.
okay? And the other thing also is that just wanted to bring you up to date also some of the other activities that we have been involved in the month of May. We attended the Texas Veterans Commission Summit in San Antonio, a very worthwhile conference where veterans, service officers, and other agencies servicing veterans gather and discuss some of the issues at hand, and also address homeless and some of the other issues of veterans, especially mental health. Okay, the training that we attended May 21st to the 23rd was in Houston, and here Texas Veterans Commission provided training for our claim development and electronic filing. That seems to be the new trend, and of course, with the electronic filing system, we will probably be requiring some computer updates and computer equipment, scanners, and all that. Okay, but it was a well-attended training. At the training, when I was in the training, one of the issues, and you'll see it later on the other report that I want to share with you, it was that we were able to find out that the IG, okay, had been in San Antonio the week that we were there in San Antonio, and now they were in Houston, and on the 22nd, they came down to the Valley. So I really haven't had a chance to talk to some of the contacts, how it came out, but we know that we had an IG inspection in Harlingen, and then in the Friday was at McAllen U VA Clinic. So the one in Houston seems to be a very favorable investigation. The one in San Antonio also, okay. Just, the report will be finalized next week. They're doing 26 locations throughout the nation. And that report will go to the president, and then, of course, we'll see what kind of reaction or directive we get, okay?
Is there anything we can do to speed up their assistance, or do you know anything that we can do, or?
Okay, currently, our local situation is that we do partnership a lot with the VA. We talk to the right people when we have issues, and we have a quarterly meeting. Every quarter, we get together with some of the veteran organizations, the VSOs in our section, and we allow the VA, or the VA allows us to attend, and they give us a report of what they're doing, okay, and a PowerPoint report and all that, and then they open up for concerns out in the field, and that's where we come in, and we present those. Appointments have always been a problem, okay, and you'll see that some of the recommendations that congressional people are making is, well, let's get them out to see a doctor in the community. That would at least have an immediate resolve to the problem, but yet the VA has to do a voucher to send you out. We're already doing that. We're experiencing problems. There's not many doctors that will accept the voucher, okay? So, and basically the VA just gives you the voucher and go out and find somebody. So what we've done, we've addressed that issue with our local VA people, and we came to an understanding that if they could provide us at least a list of some of the doctors that were in the VA and that were getting paid by the VA. That way, the veteran didn't have to go around all the community looking for a doctor. That seems to be working rather well, but we still have some issues, okay?
All right, sir.
So I want to go ahead and go to the VA situation, the scandal, okay?
I think really the purpose of the presentation was to address our local issues.
Okay.
We can talk about the national issues, but there's not much we can do about that. But I was concerned when I asked that this be done was because of some of the complaints that we had been receiving from the local veterans, and I wanted to make sure that your office, our office here at the county was going to be addressing and had been addressing the needs of our local veterans. And that's why that was the purpose of the presentation.
Okay, and of course, you know, whatever happens at the national level, because of funding, it affects our area, okay? And what we try to do, and we ask for the quarterly meeting, is to stay on top of what's going on and address some of the problems. Some of the problems have been addressed and should have been addressed way before that, okay? In your packet that I provided, you know, you have a memorandum that is dated April 2010, where the VA is recognizing the issue about appointments and rescheduling appointments and playing with those figures, okay? They knew about this problem, okay? Our secretary, VA secretary, has been in office 5.5 years. And of course, with the claims backlog, he has done a very good job in trying to reduce that. We're now at about 50% reduction of those 650,000 claims that were on backlog. So just wanted to bring you up with some of those details, because some of those in there included some congressional reaction to the VA allegations, okay, where especially the Senate Chairman, Bernie Sanders, addresses the issue very well. He's very knowledgeable. He's been in the Veterans Affairs for quite a while. So, you know, he addresses access to health care, which is something that we have been experiencing your rural areas. There's no hospitals, okay? Our nearest hospital is San Antonio. So we've done and made some enhancements in the VA healthcare for our veterans here locally, and we will continue to be involved in pursuing that issue, hopefully that we can get better results than what we're getting right now. But
thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, hopefully we can find some way that we can help them, you know, be more aggressive, you know, to move faster, you know, because we owe them, our veterans, you know, they, you know, been out there for us and for everybody, and see if there's any way that we can help out to speed it up a little bit, it'd be great.
Yes,
And basically, the push would be more doctors. Right now,
more what?
Doctors for the VA. Right now, a VA doctor is assigned anywhere from 800 to 1,200 patients, okay? And then he has to rotate them in. And they have 14 days. You request an appointment, they have 14 days to give you one. And that's not happening. That's why I added that memorandum. It's been happening for years and years and years. It's estimated that in order to take care of all these issues, it will probably take in excess of 10 years. So, but meanwhile, we have a new clinic. We're staying on top of the new clinic. We requested an additional team, which means a doctor and nurse, and we did get one. So the McAllen VA clinic sees a lot more veterans than the Harlingen clinic. So we're staying on top of that, and basically I appreciate all the support that the commissioners and the judge has given us, because it's hard work, doing a lot of advocating outside the office also, and I think by doing that we get involved with meeting with the right people, the decision makers. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next item, item 6B.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item 6B is a discussion item on a proposed county minimum wage rate of $10.10 as presented by President Barack Obama.
This is a discussion item only. There's no action required today, but I think it's important that we at least consider it, lay it out there publicly, and discuss whether or not we need to comply with this proposal that initially was made at our State of the Union by President Obama, and since then he's had at least 2 other occasions where he has mentioned this issue, that we need to get involved and start paying people a fair wage. And he is proposing a minimum wage be in place, especially for public bodies, of $10.10 an hour. And I thought it'd be important enough that I put it on the agenda so that we here at the Commissioners Court can talk about it. We presently have about 3,800 to 4,000 employees. This proposal will be affecting about 137 employees.
85 employees, Judge.
85 employees?
Yes, there's a list in front of you. It has 6B on the item. The budgetary impact would be 137,000. So it would impact 85 families.
And the impact that it would have on our budget per year would be what?
137,000.
All right. So we would be affecting the salaries of 85 of our lowest paid employees, and it would be costing us about $137,000 more per year.
Yes.
And I just want to throw that out and for discussion if there's any member of the court that wants to make any comments on that issue.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned we have over 3,000 employees.
Yes.
You know, we're coming up with a budget the next 30, 60 days. Why don't we look at ways of reducing the number of jobs that are required to do county business? We can reduce the number of staff. We can make up the 127,000 on this. So,
But I'm not talking about balancing the budget, especially not on the back of these lowest paid employees. I'm talking about paying the lowest paid employee, the custodians, some of these clerks, 85 of them, enough to, I mean, we're not talking about teenagers that are working part-time. We're talking about adults that are supporting a family on whatever they earn here and what is a permanent full-time employment.
we have good employees. What I'm suggesting is when you take a look at the number of employees that it takes to run county business, and if we can streamline it, and it requires less number of employees to do county business, then, 127,000 is 127,000.
Commissioner, and that is...
Employees, and at this point, I would be in favor of taking a good look at this, but also in the process, I think that we can take a look at what I'm suggesting is we look at the number of employees that we have.
Right, and we are looking at other initiatives, Commissioner, looking at our departments, the sizes, the tasks that they have, and we'll continue to visit with you on those initiatives as well.
So these 85 are the only ones that make under the...
1010, yes, sir.
Judge, if I may state my opinion, I'm in support of it. I think affecting 85 lives, and we are talking about adults that are raising families. It's 2.5% of our employee base. I think we have several initiatives out there that are the county's obviously going to reap the benefits, and we're going to reap what we sow on a lot of initiatives that we're taking. I think 137,000, I think we can find it easily with everything that we're doing out there. At the same time, looking at our shortfall and along with other demands that we have, I'm in support of it, Judge.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, sir. Commissioners, any other comments?
No, I think it's a good idea. I think we need to try and do that if we can.
But that way we can have our budget officer start thinking about where to get the 137,000 to be included in our next year's budget, if that would be the desire of the court. Yes, ma'am.
Probably couldn't hit at a more difficult time when we're trying to get the budget so it's not so far in the red. But as I heard this or read the agenda, I thought the real injustice that goes on in our court systems is when a lawyer gets, sorry.
It's what?
If a lawyer gets paid $300 an hour, and then the judge doesn't show up on time, and the lawyer is sitting there, and the client's paying that $300 an hour for a lawyer that sits there and waits. Now, that's an injustice. So I'm sitting there going, well, now, wait a minute here, $10.10, and what a lawyer gets, which is a whole lot more.
Virginia, we're talking about.
I know what we're talking
While the judge may not
about.
be there, while the lawyer may not be working, but that clerk is working, that janitor's out there cleaning, and they're all out there, trying to do their 8 hours worth a day.
You know
worth of
what,
work.
Judge? I would have listened to that a while ago. And then a judge comes on the scene, and I won't mention his name, but he shows up on time every morning at 8 o'clock and starts his court, and it goes bang, bang, bang right through. So if I didn't think it could happen, I would say, okay, I guess it's just hopeless. But it isn't hopeless. But we're not doing anything about it, no, nothing. We just allow it to keep going. That's just my opinion.
The court doesn't have any authority. All our judges are elected. As elected officials, we don't have any control over what they do. The only way that anybody can exert any influence over them is a ballot box. That's our system.
Yeah, okay. I know how it works. I just say, if we want to be incensed about something or think it's unfair, then we need to start there and start asking more out of our judges. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, thank you. Thank you.
May I say something?
You're welcome to come, yes.
Thank you. My name is Maria, and I lived in Mexico for many, many years, and every time the salaries increase, this is inflationary, everything will go up. The county cannot be a tent. It's as if it were raining and we have a tent. We cannot bring everybody under the tent to give them salary and pat them. Those people in the county who do not make money, well, they can study and go somewhere else to improve themselves. We cannot be, enabling and giving them anything. This is on the backs of the taxpayers. I don't want to be mean. I was a teacher in Mexico with a minimum wage salary. I ain't a teacher no more because I didn't make money. So you cannot be supporting everybody who doesn't make that money. See, if you don't like that salary, be my guest, the door's open, you can walk away. Of course, if the salary is not enough, it's because the taxes, the fees, and everything is very expensive. So let's look in the mirror, yourself, look in the mirror, the elected and non-elected officials. Look yourselves in the mirror and say, hey, I am charging too much. 59 cents for the county is too much. Other counties have lowered, as I gave you the paper the other day, have lowered the rates to help people. Give us some residual income so we can spend money, so we can move the economy.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, next item. Item 7, our constables.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I have one item on the agenda.
Good morning, sir.
Item AI 44614, Constable Precinct 1, Operation Stone Garden, 1284, approval of appropriation of the fiscal year 2013 Operation Stone Garden grant funds for Constable Precinct 1 in the total amount of $72,527.86.
Move for approval.
Need a second? Second. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good day.
Precinct 2.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. Armando Campos for Constable Martin Cantu. Item 7B, approval and appropriation of 2013 Operation Stone Garden grant funds for the Constable Precinct 2 Department in a total amount of $69,251.87.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. And Precinct 3.
Good morning, Commissioner Judd.
Morning.
Precinct 3, Constable Precinct 3, Stone Garden Operation, OPS G 1284, approval and appropriation of 2013 Operation Stone Garden Grant for Constable Precinct 3 Department in the total amount of $116,118.15.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Precinct 4.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Oro Sanchez here on behalf of Constable J.R. Gaitan. Agenda item A1, AI, correction, 44685, Constable Precinct 4, Operation Stone Garden, approval of appropriation of Stone Garden 2013 Operation Stone Garden grant funds for the Constable Precinct 4 Department in total amount of $122,956.10.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 8, our DA's office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
We're requesting approval of the following expenditures in accordance with exiting officials' expenditure policy. On the first expenditures, there's no action. The second one is the expenditures for Mr. Guerra to attend the 2014 annual BPU conference for a total of $770.80. It's $170.80 for mileage, $414 for lodging, and $186 for meals.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is also approval of the expenditures in accordance with exiting officials' expenditures policy. It's $3,000 to sponsor the 36th Annual Southwest Association of Forensic Scientists that DPS is having at the island for law enforcement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
And you don't need any action on 8A, you said?
No, sir.
On the top part, no?
No,
All right.
no action.
Item 9, our sheriff's office.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Richard Ozuna, on behalf of our Sheriff Eddie Guerra, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, 9A. It's under the 2013 Operation Stone Garden Grant under 1284. Number one is the approval to appropriate the following city budgets for awarded amounts pursuant to the subrecipient interlocal agreement with the County of Hidalgo for the Operation Stone Garden Grant from the Governor's Division of Emergency Management, Texas Department of Public Safety.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
On the number two is discussion, authorization, and approval to execute the Operation Stone Garden Grant subrecipient interlocal agreement from the Governor's Division of Emergency Management, Texas Department of Public Safety, between the County of Hidalgo and the city police departments of Alamo, Donna, Edinburgh, Hidalgo, La Jolla, Mercedes, Mission, Palmview, Benitas, Far, San Juan, and Huasaco. There's 12 of them listed below. And through the 12 entities, a total of $1,340,309.53.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 10, our Health Department.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. I have item 10A, sir, the Hidalgo Fit Wellness Program presentation regarding Hidalgo Fit, our total knockout challenge. And I have the two wonderful staff members who have joined us and here today to present on it real quickly. They're the ones that helped develop it. We have Ms. Brenda Salazar and Ms. Lauren Robbie that will be coming up and give a quick presentation on this program to look at a cost savings efforts for the county and to look at some of the different activities.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
So we're here representing Hidalgo Fit Wellness Program, and we want to let you know about the Hidalgo Fit Total Knockout Challenge that will be taking place throughout the month of June. At each precinct office, we've been working with precinct staff members to to secure these dates and the locations. We will be coming to you in an effort to reduce, having your employees having to leave your office during this. We're going to be offering screenings for free: blood pressure, pulse, weight, body mass index, body fat percentage, including the education regarding whatever their numbers will be, and then we'll follow up in October with them with another challenge. And the challenge is, one, to knock out unhealthy habits for each employee in an effort to reduce spending regarding health care, and two, to encourage participation and to have a little friendly competition between each precinct. We have the knockout belt that will be, it's a trophy, and it'll be a traveling trophy that we will present to the precinct that has the most participation throughout this event. And then in October, when we have this event again, the trophy will travel to the winning precinct with the most participation. And so our goals again are to reduce costs for employees out of pocket, as well as reduce costs for the county, and regarding claims, and to make ourselves a healthier, more productive workforce. I have Lauren Robbie with it. Anything else to add?
Yes, this event will also allow us to establish our employees as patients in our clinics, which will also give the clinical staff the opportunity to get a medical history on the patients prior to them going to the clinics for a wellness exam.
And we will not be, and there will not be any claims to the Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance regarding this event as well. Yes. So that will save. And we also have Savannah Gonzalez from the DA's office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just to give some legal clarification on this, all of this will be voluntary. The patients, our employees, are going to participate voluntarily should they choose to do so. The health department is aware of HIPAA compliance. They'll be keeping all of the forms in accordance with the requirements for HIPAA. And additionally, we will be providing a participation slip that the Hidalgo Fit Wellness Committee will be filling out in order to document time and attendance for this participation.
Is this only for the precinct office, or?
We'll be extending this opportunity to the Sheriff's Department as well as the courthouse in July. But this will be a friendly competition between the precincts in this month.
And when's the date on this?
We have the dates on the flyer for each precinct.
So they're starting on the 6th and they go out throughout the entire month.
We'll also have this on our next Hidalgo Fit Employee Wellness newsletter that will be coming out this week. This flyer will be attached to the newsletter, so everybody will have access to every date and location.
I think one of the things that's important here, Judge, Commissioners, I know that there might be people in the audience and that are watching this on YouTube and maybe even in the audience here, they think, well, this is an idle thing, it's a fun thing. But the reality is, it's an empowering thing. When we spend $24 million of taxpayer money a year on health care, and if we're able to take and empower our employees to take better care of themselves and utilize their health care dollars more efficiently by not going to ER rooms, by not using urgent care facilities, by getting a medical home, by doing all these things, we will save taxpayer dollars because we fund our own insurance. So the immediate results is going to be slow going, but the reality is if we could empower the employees to take better control of their expenditures on health care, that will yield a savings to the county, and it would help our employees in the long run from a productivity point of view, but also from a cost operational point of view. That's the number one purpose behind this, is from looking at it from that perspective, and also to be looking at the overall, taking accountability for your own health care and your own costs. That's the purpose of these programs.
And this is, I guess, the beginning of this initiative?
Yes, sir.
You're headed towards, requiring after a certain age, they've got to take colonoscopies, they've got to take...
That's part of our physical requirement that we're looking at, that we're going to encourage that. Of course, we have to follow the rules in accordance to the legal standards. We cannot impose it upon anybody, but it could be highly recommended. But a lot of it has to do with education, Judge, where we would really provide a lot of education and awareness to our employees that the benefits of all of that would be tremendous for all our employees.
But if voluntary participation doesn't work, we've got to do something else. We've got to encourage them in a different way.
Absolutely, Judge, and those are some of the things that we've been looking at. We are having monthly meetings, and we're also looking into the legal ramifications for requiring, certain procedures and
All
things
right.
like that of our employees. But
Yeah,
right now, we certainly want to start with empowering our employees and making sure they're aware of the cost-benefit analysis of certain things, going to your primary care provider versus going to the ER.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, ladies, for your presentation. I think this is a great opportunity, Judge, really, it really is. I think, I really feel confident that we have to take the lead, and who better to demonstrate to our county residents about taking a responsibility and accountability for our expenditures than our own employees. And I think this is a positive action in the right direction. With your permission, sir, I'll move on to item 10B. Discussion and consideration and approval of the demonstration year 2 uncompensated care DY2 UC drawdown in the amount of $9 million from general fund, and then the $22,529,901.62 from our LPP fund for a grand total of IGT of $31,529,901.62 to be subject to change issued by Health and Human Services final instructions that have not been sent to us yet. We're waiting on those instructions. So what we're looking at is on what we have here, the accounts have to be in place by May the 30th. The drawdown will be on June the 2nd. What's very important, all these figures, all this money is being used under DSRIP and UC are being reviewed and audited by HHSC and CMS, which is Medicaid Federal. This is not just money that's going to their coffers and it stays in their coffers. They are subject, and believe me, in fact, Senator Hinojosa made the rule in the law that requires a review and audit of all these fundings from the hospitals. So they are actually being reviewed for all of this. That's being handled at the federal and state level, not at the local level. But all this is subject to extreme scrutiny from the feds and the state once it's all done, sir.
Is there anyone here representing the hospitals?
That I'm aware of, no, sir.
You need to make sure that they understand, first of all, our understanding of the agreement, there is no deadline for us to come up with a $9 million. And we thought we were going to be able to pay it off with these salary sweeps that we were going to be conducting, I guess, 3 or 4 times during the year.
Correct.
But what we're doing is we're going ahead and looking at other accounts so that we can make up the difference. Right now, we have about $6.6 million. We're trying to raise the balance of the 9 for the benefit of the hospital so that they can receive more dollars so that they can spend them on and be compensated for health care for our residents here in the county. This $9 million will enable them to receive $22.5 million.
Correct.
Which we did not come up with the 9. They would not be able to do that. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because we're coming up at another cycle, and we're going to be hoping that they'll take that into consideration when we're talking about what is going to be our next year's share of indigent care.
I understand, sir, very clearly.
All right.
All right.
When do we have to get that total money?
We are following through the instructions. Everything we're giving to Mr. Eufrasio and to Mr. Cruz. All that information is being forwarded. My understanding is that that instructions and everything will be taking place this week by the 30th. Everything needs to be in place, and then the drawdown will be on the 2nd. Instructions will be following hopefully in the next 24, 48 hours exactly how it's going to be done. The state is still figuring the last second figures that they have to deal with across the state, and that's what we're waiting on, sir. Really, we're the subject of the state of Texas and CMS at the Federal Medicaid Medicare office in Washington.
Yeah, we transfer the monies when they give us the instruction. Normally, they'll give us instruction to have monies available by the end of closing business a certain date. But at this point, I don't think we have received a notification yet.
I understand that, sir. But the thing is, I'm informing you that this notification is subject to, I'm informing the Commissioner's Court.
They're asking when the money is going to be transferred. What I'm saying is that at this point, we don't know when the monies are going to be transferred. We have an idea, a plan
Right.
But as far as when they're actually going to be transferred, we don't know.
Well, I'm telling you, it'll be transferred by the May the 30th. I mean, the money transfer withdrawal, it needs to be in the bank, close of business May 30th, and then on June 2nd, it'll be drawn down by the state. As far as the actual step-by-step procedures like you get, they have not sent them to us, but they're telling us these are the dates. That's what they're telling us,
Right.
point blank.
But we always get two notifications. One notification says, more or less, this date, that's when the drawdown is going to be. And
Mr.
then we get it-
Horacio,
and then-
I
hold
agree
on,
with you.
Hold on. And then we get a second notification saying, we need the money at this date.
I understand, Mr.
So,
Flacio.
we have not received the second notification, that's what I'm trying to say.
Mr. Flacio, and you'll receive them the second we receive them, you will get them. Okay? But the reality is, right now, this is what they're telling us in
Eddie,
conference calls.
They're asking when the money's going to be transferred. My answer is, I don't know yet.
Judge, any other
Yes, sir.
questions?
Well,
We have a problem with the court approving this.
The $22.5 million, those monies are already in the bank. The $9 million, my understanding, there was only 6 point something available.
We're gonna get that from the general fund, the balance, and then
We're
replace
gonna-
it.
Well, in order to transfer the whole 9, you will have to transfer from other budgeted line items. And that's something that the budget office will have to do.
And we can replace it.
That was
back.
already approved on the consent agenda, item 3A.
So
So
we're
the
good
rest
to
of the
go.
funding is already in place.
So the 9 million is ready to go, second? Okay, so then, yeah, we can do that.
All right, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Eddie,
Aye.
our obligation is 8%. That comes out to about 12.5 or 13 million.
About 13 million, yes, sir.
And if we were to come up this next year, there's a good figure of 5 million. 5 plus 5 is 10, and the half of 2.5, that'll give them 12.5.
Right.
Really, our good faith figure should be 5 and not 9 or not 8.
Sir, I think that's subject to review during the budgetary process, and that's
But when you
Commissioner's
start
law.
talking to them, because they're going to start talking to you, you might tell them that that figure sounds like a more equitable figure.
Yes, sir. I have item C and D, sir. There is no discussion on those items unless you all have any questions or comments on C and D. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 11, our fire marshal.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Discussion, consideration, and approval to revise the fire marshal's fee schedule for the year 2014 in accordance with Local Government Code Chapter 352. In the 10 years that I've been with the Fire Marshal's Office, we have made 0 adjustments to the fee schedule. At this time, we feel that there is an adjustment needed to bring us up with the rest of the counties in the state. I do have a sheet that I believe was passed out to you with the fee schedules. The main change is something that we've
I don't
never
have
actually
that sheet.
charged
I don't-
for.
Do you have that
There's no
sheet with you?
attachment. I have it with me if you'd like to see that.
Was that fee schedule attached, Linda?
Thank
It
you.
is?
The main thing that we've changed on this is we never used to charge for burn permits, so now we're starting to charge for the burn permits, and we're changing our inspection fees from $50 to $75.
You're increasing the ones in red? Are the increases?
I believe so, yes.
There's only 2 of them then, right?
No. The red is, no, let me take a look at that.
Why don't you explain it to us? You can just take it with you and explain it. What are the changes that you're proposing be made to this schedule?
We're making 12 changes out of 24 different items that we charge for. Plan review fee usually is $60. We're changing that to $75. The plan review fee is when we get a large set of plans, we review it, and we charge by the hour on those for large projects. We are changing our underground storage tank fee from $50 to $100. We're changing our above-ground storage tank fees from $50 to $100. Our occupancy inspections for large healthcare facilities, we're changing to $125 from $75. Our occupancy and reinspection fees is changing from $30 to $50. And our occupancy inspections of small daycares is from $50 to $75. And our annuals and our reinspection fee, which is if we have to go back several times, from $35 to $50. And we are now starting to charge for burn permits from 0, they're going to $25. For any commercial burning permits for agriculture or land clearing is from $0 to $100. where's the other one? And copy of our investigation reports from $10 to $25. And the last change is on duplicates of photographs. They were initially at 50 cents a photograph, and we're changing those to $2 a photograph.
Any questions?
Obviously, these fees are in accord, compared to other counties. we're
Yes,
right
an
in the middle.
analysis was done throughout the state with counties of our size, and
Okay.
we are very much in line or a little below
Lower.
what they're charging throughout the state.
Okay. Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Item 12, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Morning.
First item on the agenda is on behalf of the City of Alton, requesting the authority to purchase fire station equipment through the county's membership and participation with Buy Board. The vendor would be Grandi Truck Center, contract 39912. It would be for $89,700, and this is for the purchase of a brush truck.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is approval of a land acquisition of 13 parcels, known as parcel 17, 22, 26, 30, 31, 32, 33B, 35, 36, 37, 39, 38, 39, and 41. These are all for the Delta Area Connector East Lateral, and the total amount of the purchase would be $633,800. This is for, as I indicated, the East Lateral, and this is part of the GLO contract.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have already previously approved the values, and
I believe they were present,
Last
they were,
week.
a presentation was made to you in executive session regarding whether or not to accept the
Okay.
values.
thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is also related to the East Lateral, and this is for parcel 20. The amount of this purchase would be for $26,314.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. We're like
Yeah.
60% complete on the acquisition, so as soon as we get to the 100, they will be able to go for the actual construction.
How much are we? 50%?
We're about 60% on the
60%.
acquisition. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 13, our Elections Office.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning,
Good morning.
Commissioners. There's no need to vote on this. It's simply an update. Just reminding everyone that today is Election Day for the primary runoff, so it's important that we get out there and vote. The locations are open from 7 to 7. We are down about 10,000 votes from the 2012 primary runoff for early voting. So it's very important to let everyone know that the locations are open. Make sure to call the office at 318-2570 if you have a question about where I go and vote, because it is Election Day today. Also, look on our website for the schedules, and don't go out there without knowing where you need to go. My item is just updating you regarding the special Democratic runoff election for the Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Place 2. The race is to be held on July 1st as ordered by a district court judge. But I would also like to remind you that we've got the City of Mercedes and Mission Cities runoff elections that will go first. Their early voting will start Monday, June 9th through Tuesday, June 17th, with their election day on Saturday, the 21st of June. And right after that, on that Monday, we'll begin the early voting for that Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, Place 2, run through Friday, June 27th, with their election day being on July 1st. So there's a lot happening. Please don't hesitate to call the office. Don't hesitate to look on the website so that you can be informed before heading out to the polls to vote.
How many votes you said so far?
I'm sorry, sir?
How many votes total for the runoff right now?
For the early voting, we were down about 10,000. There was
Oh,
about
down.
6,500 votes through early voting compared to 16,000 votes during the 2012 runoff for the primary. So we're down our numbers. We need to encourage everyone to get out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 14, our IT Department. Mr. Ramirez.
Judge, I don't believe Mr. Ramirez is not here today.
Do you want to handle it?
All right, item 14 is for precinct 2, and this is the last batch, as I understand it, or towards the last batch. He is asking authorization and approval to continue the wireless service through the county's membership participation with contract DIR STD-1779 for Verizon Wireless for the following. It's for cell phone or cell phones. There are 2 office usage, one assigned to Ricardo Cuellar and the second or the fourth assigned to Abel Sanchez. They do have requisition numbers attached to them. It's 257-000 for both office usage phones, and 257-002 for Ricardo Cuellar, and 256-541 for Abel Sanchez.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 15, our AgriLife Extension Service.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mr. Cowan.
We appreciate the opportunity to be before the court this morning. We have a special presentation to give you, and this is from our state office in College Station.
That can't be right.
And as you know, Judge, we came before you not too many months ago, celebrating the fact that this is the 100th anniversary of the first county extension agent appointment here in Hidalgo County. And we're here today to let you know that the nation has caught up with Hidalgo County in the sense that the Smith-Lever Act was passed
May 8th.
May 8th. Thank you, Barbara. And we're here to present this special recognition to let you know that not only do we appreciate the support of the local court, but we appreciate the support of the commissioners' courts that came before you for the last 100 years, supporting extension education here in Hidalgo County. But also, this effort is nationwide. We have county extension agents in every state of the nation, and we would like to present this award to you. Barbara, if you'll do the honors with the award, I'd like to make sure I didn't miss anything in my impromptu notes, but the Smith-Lever Act was created in a state-by-state network of educators, and we appreciate your cooperation and help. And this is a Building a Better Texas Award. And we appreciate not only your support, but the support of each county commissioner's court and in our vast system of education that we are so proud to be a part of. We couldn't have done it without you, sir, and the rest of the court. If we could get a brief picture, we'd like to do that.
All right, next item 16, our planning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, Raul
Morning,
Singh,
sir.
Planning Administrator. First item on the agenda is the, preliminary approval variance request for item A is the re-subdivision of Greener Pastures, Precinct 1. They're replatting some land that is within an existing mobile home park in the ETJ of Wesco. And because of the size of the lots, they're requesting that the front and rear setbacks be reduced to 10 feet, where in the front is required 25 and the rear 15 for the county. We have no objection to that. It does meet the Texas Water Development Board minimum separation distances. Furthermore, the city of Wesco has also approved it, and everything else has been reviewed by the various county departments. It has gone before the advisory board and is being recommended for preliminary approval. And my office also is recommending preliminary approval with the variance request.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is the preliminary approval variance request Villa Salazar subdivision. This is just a 3-lot commercial subdivision off of 107 that requires a minimum 65-foot frontage. However, because of the lot distribution, they're able to put 40 feet. They are going to have a shared driveway. We've looked at it. We have no objection to the proposal. There is one existing commercial lot and 2 additional lots that are being created. We have no objection to the request, and it has been reviewed by the various county departments. Advisory board is recommending preliminary approval. We also recommend preliminary approval with the variance request.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
If it pleases the court, I can either handle these individually or collectively. I could read them for the record. These are for preliminary approval. They have been reviewed by the various county departments, and in the ETJ have received approval. My office also conducted the reviews, and these are for preliminary, subject to future comments, and this allows them to go to construction. If it's okay, would you like to hold them collectively or individually? Collectively?
We can do them all together. We
Okay.
can. Steve?
Would that be okay? Okay. For the record, preliminary approval, H&R subdivision, precinct 3, Ortiz and Resendez subdivision, precinct 4, Jardín de la Flor subdivision, precinct 1, Alejandra Gonzalez subdivision, precinct 1, La Vita Ranches phase 1, precinct 1, and Coronado subdivision, precinct 1. And again, those developments that I just read are for preliminary approval, have been reviewed by the various county departments, and have been recommended by the advisory board for preliminary approval. So just any future comments before receiving final, they'll go for construction, meet all the requirements, and they'll bring it back before the court for final approval. My office is also recommending approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is final approval, Redgate subdivision, precinct 4. This is just a 1-lot commercial subdivision. It has been approved by the various county departments, and it is ready for final approval. The advisory board is recommending final, my office as well.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Rancho Escondido Acres is precinct 3. This is a 1-lot, single-family development. And various county departments have reviewed it. Everything has been constructed as per the requirements, and advisory board and my office recommending final approval.
Move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Cash America subdivision, precinct 4. It's a 1-lot commercial subdivision on Raul Longoria. It has been approved by the city of Edinburgh, and all the various county departments have also signed off on it. The advisory board has recommended approval, and my office is as well. Everything's been in accordance with the requirements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Las Carretas subdivision is a 1-lot commercial subdivision in precinct 3. It has been approved by the city of McAllen. It's located in HTJ. Everything has been constructed as per the requirements. All the county departments have also reviewed it and signed off on it. And advisory board and my office is also recommending final approval of Las Carretas subdivision.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. I
Aye.
believe you said 3, but it is 4.
I apologize, sir. No, it's precinct 3. It's a type.
Oh, so it's typed up wrong
Yes,
here
sir.
then.
My apologies for that. It's Las Carretas over there. It's on Inspiration Road and Monte Cristo Road, so that's precinct 3, sir.
All right.
Apologies for that. Final approval, Monte Alto Independent School District High School. This is the high school located west of FM 88. It has gone through the various county departments, and they have conducted the improvements required. Everything's in order. We recommend final approval also the advisory boards recommend final approval.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
We have reimbursement, financial guarantee, Los Novillos subdivision. They're requesting a reimbursement of $1,000 for the installation of a septic tank. We have the inspection report from the health department, and everything's in order. There'll be a balance remaining of $29,000 in that account for the remaining tanks to be installed.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Last item is approval and concurrence with TxDOT on proposed state highway improvements, FM 493 South, CSJ 8630147, from 281 Military Road to .77 miles south of Business 83, which is a reconstruction, and also CSJ 086301053 from .77 miles south of Business 83 to Business 83, which is an overlay. It's just a concurrence approval for TxDOT. So you may execute or sign the cover sheet, Judge. I think the Drainage District also took a similar action earlier today. Everything's in order for that.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Item 17, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 17A, 1 and 2 is approval of certification of revenue as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds in the amount of $22,529,901.62. And this is for the LPPF 1115 waiver program.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17B is presentation and discussion on the proposed.
Excuse me, Sergio, why
Yes.
is it 22 million? How did you arrive at that?
The 22 million is the tax that was levied against the hospital, the bed tax. That's the amount.
Okay, there, thank you.
The 9 million has been certified already?
Excuse me?
The 9 million has already been certified?
The 9 million from the county?
Yes.
Yes, that's already been appropriated into the account. Now, item 17B is presentation and discussion on the proposed sanitation implementation models. We handed out a handout. Basically, it has the two options that we presented to the court, met with each of the court members individually and discussed the various pros and cons with these two different models that we have been proposing to the court to implement. The first model that we've proposed to the court is going to be the vendor service agreements. Again, this is what was previously referred to as the franchise model. We're now switching it over to vendor service agreements. Basically, the county would enter into agreements with the trash collection vendors for services to be provided to the rural residents. Basically, the savings, the main savings to the county would be achieved through the closure of the citizens collection stations that we currently provide to the citizens free of charge. Basically, the sanitation staff, the current sanitation staff, there would be no reduction in force. All of that would be done via attrition. We believe it would take a 3-year phase out for us to be able to move these individuals either because of voluntary departure or being able to repurpose them and transfer them over to the road and bridge or to the parks. We believe it'll take a 3-year period for us to achieve full savings on the salaries. And then we would also implement a 5% service agreement fee that would be collected by the private haulers. Again, the pros, this model that we're proposing would be a non-exclusive agreement. So basically, all of the providers that are currently providing service would continue to provide service to all residents. It would not be an exclusive one where we would just have one company take over the services for the full county. This one, we would have multiple vendors. It would promote competition for trash collection. It would enable all haulers to stay in business. And it would allow the rural residents to choose the best choice for their needs. Against the cons, we do believe there will be a potential increase in illegal dumping. And as such, we would have to increase our code enforcement. There would be some price rate fluctuations amongst the companies, as each of them would be able to set their own rate. And of course, there would be increased truck traffic within the neighborhoods as there could be more than one vendor servicing any one neighborhood. As far as the total anticipated budgetary impact, we would achieve a $5.4 million annual savings once the full process is realized. For the first year, we're estimating that we would realize only about a $2 million savings, and that savings would just increase as we're able to reduce the staff via attrition. We also project that we would be able to have franchise or service agreement revenue potential anywhere between $85,000 to $300,000. And this is because if they currently have an agreement with a provider, we cannot assess the service agreement charge until that contract expires. So right now, about 20,000 of the rural residents do have a private hauler, so they do have an agreement. We don't know whether it's a month-to-month agreement or whether it's an annual agreement. That's where that range in projections and franchise revenues is so big. The second model that we had presented to the court was the collection station fee, basically instituting a user fee to our current citizens collection stations. The fee that we're proposing right now is a $25 quarterly permit fee. Again, this option does not result in the reduction of our overall operations. We would not achieve the full savings as a $25 quarterly fee would mainly generate about $2.4 million in projected revenue compared to the $5.4 that we're currently expending. However, again, the pros to this program, the residents do have the option to either contract a private hauler or use this citizens collection stations at a fee. And again, it would still allow all the private haulers to remain in business. Again, some cons, we do believe that there would still be some type of increase in legal dumping, and as such, we would have to increase our code enforcement. And again, the con that we would not have, we would not be rid of the $5.4 million current sanitation expenditure. These are the two models that we have for the court. What we would like is to get direction from the court to see which model do we further do work on and be able to implement. That way we can start seeing a savings for fiscal year 2015.
Well, if I may, I know that's taken a lot of research, a lot of assuring that we're looking at these models as effective as we can. Obviously, geographically, we have different demands within each different precinct. We've talked a lot about potentially merging the two as working together. I know when I talked to you, Sergio, we talked about non-exclusive to private companies so that the couple that came up to speak earlier, we would not infringe on their business, and obviously we're promoting business, small business throughout our areas, not limiting them so that they can, our taxpayers can have curbside service. We looked at all these, I'm in favor of all the benefits. I think there's more benefits than cons to the system, but I thought that you have to do two at the same time. If we were to look at doing option one, which is a vendor service agreements, but also look at potentially charging the fee at collection sites because, again, these people have been accessing our collection sites for years, for over, I want to say 10 to 12 years. I don't know the exact amount of years. But to not provide that culture shock and end up with a drastic issue of illegal dumping, we apply both models, the fee for permit as well as encourage the vendor service agreements. At the same time, each permit holder will receive a listing of vendors that can potentially pick up at curbside. That would allow for the transition to hopefully close all collection sites in the near future. I think that's the best model. That's what I'm in favor for. I don't know what the other commissioners feel, but I think at the end of the day, we don't eliminate the small business providers. We still have a transitional period for the collection sites, and it's not at the expense of the county because it's gonna be a fee per permit, But I'm in favor of this.
We did look at doing the hybrid model.
You're in favor of the first one?
I'm in favor of, I think that we have to merge both processes, Judge, because of the fact that if you remain with your collection sites as free to the general public, They're not going to pick, the private vendors aren't going to pick up customers as fast. I think if we transition with a simple nominal fee for disposal at the collection sites and encourage them to have curbside service with our vendors that are out there servicing the areas already, I think that it allows for a smoother transition in time. I don't think that it'll take us a while to ramp up the transition of people disposing at our collection sites to a curbside service. I think it will help ramp it up a lot faster. At the same time, we're looking at a nominal fee for the disposal. So the benefit obviously goes to the county on getting a little closer to getting out of the collection service.
All right, sir. Any other comments by the members of the court?
I think the court was looking at savings, and the one that would allow the better opportunity for savings to the county, to the taxpayers, was to go with option one.
Correct. That would yield the greatest amount of savings over the 3-year span. Yes, that would basically eliminate our $5.4 million of expenses within our sanitation program, and that would yield some revenue from franchise or from vendor service agreements that we would be able to pass on.
So help me understand your option one on vendor service agreements. You're eliminating the collection sites?
On option one, yes, that would be eliminating the option.
You're talking, and this is just me speaking, you close them, I got 15,000 permit holders. Immediately from one day to the next, they're only gonna look at one thing: where do I dump this trash? Either they're gonna be with a provider, or they're gonna, I highly doubt they're gonna be at Edinburgh landfill dumping the trash. It's gonna end up in our ditches. That's why I believe that we should marry the two options, charge a fee so that when they show up, they're not just gonna discard it. We charge a nominal fee for permit. They can dispose it at that point, but we're not disposing it at the cost of the county. So that's why I think there has to be some sort of a marriage amongst the two. And then you slowly phase out within the next year to 2 years.
The statutes do allow for more than one system.
I understand your concern, and how do you respond to somebody who lives within the city limit of a community? Do they have the same options?
Per fee, yeah, because everything's at a fee by permit.
For the collection stations?
If you look at our permit holders.
Your question was in regards to the collection stations?
They're mandated to charge them.
Yes, for the collection stations, at that point, there would be a user fee. So we would charge them the quarterly user fee to any citizen within the county. Again, they would still have, I believe all the municipalities do have, they charge for the residential waste collection within their water utility. That's one of the enforcement mechanisms that the county does not have, is the fact that we don't have our own, we don't provide water services to the rural communities, and therefore we don't have that enforcement tool. It does allow for us to implement some other enforcement tools. However, as far as successful models that we've seen across the state, we haven't seen anything other than including into the water bill.
Yeah, I'm all for going for the vendor service agreements. If we go out, start that process, I think phasing out the collection sites is crucial. I think this whole culture shock we could end up in a more severe issue, knowing that hurricane season's coming. I mean, we've lived it in the past, and we've always seen where these people end up dumping this. Every week we're picking up illegal dumping in our ditches. I'm just saying that it just becomes a little more comprehensive as we take whether it's a 12-month or 24-month period that we phase out our collection sites. At the same time, we're still at a benefit because we're doing a fee for permit. We walk through with our taxpayers or our taxpayers and transitioning them from collecting there on site to curbside service. It just.
Okay.
Did you do any analysis on the, if we were to go into an option 3, I think the initial option that we considered was the exclusive agreement when we tried to implement this sometime last year.
Yes, the initial model that was presented to the court was an exclusive franchise agreement countywide. After that, we had different variations to where we created 6 different districts. And then the last one that we've been proposing is going to be the non-exclusive. That way it would eliminate that, the displacement of any haulers.
How are you going to divide up the county?
Right now,
If you let 12 vendors go out there and get involved?
Basically, any vendor would be able to solicit business anywhere in the county, which is what they're doing right now. Right now, they all have their exclusive areas that they're concentrated in one area more than another. However, basically the vendor service agreements would basically, the only difference would be that we would close the citizen collection stations. That way, basically now the residents would either have to go and contract it out or either go dispose of it at a landfill. That was the difference.
The one big advantage of an exclusive agreement was that major company was going to be picking up and hiring our staff, most of it anyway.
Yes, they would be able to do that if it was just one vendor. However, one of the concerns that the court had at that point was the displacement of all the other waste haulers that were operating throughout the county. That's the reason why we moved away from that model. But that is a model that Cameron County is utilizing right now.
Any other discussion? All right, but there's no action, not an action item, is it?
No, but if we
You have
can
a
get some
schedule, you have a schedule of applying the vendor service agreement, at least whatever we're going to plan on doing. What's the schedule that we're going to apply this?
If we were to do this, we would be looking anywhere between 3 to 6 months of implementation for either option. If we want to do both at the same time and institute two models of collection, it would take roughly about the same period. If the inclination of the court is to do both in the hopes that we, at some point, either 12 months or 24 months down the road, we would close the citizen collection stations, then basically on there, we would tweak our model. We were looking at purchasing some equipment for the collection stations. Basically, we would try to do it the low cost, the lowest investment, if we're looking at moving away from that collection permits.
When are you going to place it on the agenda for action?
I can place the vendor service agreements already next week or the week after.
There's the only reason I recommend both. I'm being very partial to our area. We've had discussions with the city of Edinburgh. Us trying to apply both models will allow the city of Edinburgh to take over a collection site. So rather than force the resident to go all the way to the Edinburgh landfill, they'll be able to dispose on site. Now, their haulers are right next door to us, so they're able to pick up the bins and take them with them. So that allows them, the benefit goes down to the taxpayer on not having to commute so far to dump. And so I had expressed that budget would have to go with each commissioner because it's very hard. What may work for us may not work for some of the other precincts. So I want to remain at least advocating for both models for Precinct 4, being the fact that the city of Edinburgh will inevitably pretty much just take over a collection site. So we went outright.
Did you want to say something, ma'am?
Yeah, if I may, just wanted to touch
Why don't you speak into the mic?
Sorry, I just wanted to touch a little bit on what Mr. Joseph Palacio says of, having a combination of both items. I think that will be the best model that you can use. Charge a little bit at the landfill, at the transfer stations, because that will force them to go into a waste collection company versus, putting their trash into a pickup truck or into a car and then driving to a transfer station. That alone will take gas, their time. They also look into putting the trash into their cars. So a lot of women especially don't want to do that. And if they have to pay, even if it's $5, they would rather go with somebody like my company that would charge $20 for the whole month, and yet they all have the convenience of having the trash compactor right there in their backyard. Another issue with illegal dumping is a lot of times they're caught by the constable. I've seen it where they're caught by the constable, they're given a ticket, but then they go to the judge, and the judge a lot of times dismisses that that ticket. So I think illegal dumping has to be addressed by everybody. Constables, I know the constables are doing their job, but yet,
Yeah, but
that ticket is just,
And we don't have enough constables to check everywhere, so it's.
yeah. That will also be another problem. And
What's going to happen, Sergio, to our staff, our sanitation staff, if all we do is just to enter into agreements with 12 different vendors that already have their people?
Basically, the staff would now be utilized, we would keep the staff, we would not have a reduction in force.
So we would still be paying the 5 million or whatever it is.
Correct, we would
No, the
have
five.
a-
It's not 5 million, it's
The
what's the
5
total?
million is not salaries.
Is tipping and everything all
Yeah,
inclusive.
we would save roughly about $1 million in tipping fees. We would also save on the operational costs. We would also be able to delete the vacancies as they occur.
Yeah.
The staff that's still, all the positions would basically be redlined. As soon as they become vacant, they would be deleted. And those employees that are still in those programs would be transitioned over to Road and Bridge or to Parks. Again, the job titles that they have are truck drivers and heavy equipment operators, so they would be easily be able to transition into road maintenance work.
How many employees do we have
A
in
little bit over
sanitation?
a little bit over 80 employees in the sanitation
80?
program, correct.
Now, Judge, if we're able to do, like Precinct 4, the city is looking at acquiring all our equipment and our personnel. So that's why you have to treat each precinct a little bit different, because in ours, it benefits us. The city is looking at buying out our equipment, taking our employees, and then see what else we can do on the other side. That's why I was advocating both systems in place. We're going to be able to get there a little faster and then start addressing the other concerns with each of the precincts.
And we can
And how we
implement
get
both concurrently. The only issue that we foresaw was going to be the message that we're going to put out to the public, because if we do institute the vendor service agreements, basically the statute says it's mandatory that the rural residents have to sign up for the service, although there is no enforcement. That's the only thing that we saw in the message, but we can certainly work with public affairs and try to get a message out so we can alert the citizens of both models that we're implementing.
can I also make another point? I know the Human Insurance Cameron County is using a model right now, but they only have 50% participation of residents. And that's what Hidalgo County has at this point. They have about 50% participation without going into a private franchise company.
All right.
And also city residents, they have their trash picked up almost, sometimes twice a week, but yet they also use the landfill at the county because they also have access trash. So it's not just county residents that use county transfer stations, it's also city residents that they already have service twice a week.
Yeah.
Thank
What-
you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
What scares me, Judge, is when I was a chief of staff at Precinct 1, when we had the gates closed on some of the collection sites, the residents there, they don't care. They would pile up the trash right at the gates, and at the end of the day, it was the county's problem to pick it all up and
We
put it
had
in there.
that
So
happen during the holidays,
Yeah, it's scary just to shut them down from one day to the next. I mean, we could have a plan of action where in the next 12 months, we transition to a closure, but we need to give ourselves enough time to get them to private vendors.
Well, we got to bring it to a head.
Yes, sir.
So maybe give yourself a reasonable amount of time and put it up for an action item, and let's just vote on what option we decide we would like to take.
All right, Judge, we'll bring the action items for both models and the hybrid as well back to court for approval.
And you ought to do
Straight up.
the exclusive one also, do the pros and cons, and then let the members of the court decide which one they want.
We'll do that as well, Judge. Item 17C, presentation and discussion regarding the construction of a new countywide shop in Precinct 2. This item I placed in discussion with Precinct 2 staff. I believe the Precinct 2 staff's recommendation would be, right now, the Precinct 2 is constructing their own mechanic shop on, I believe it's Veterans Road, South I Road, Commissioner?
Right.
And they have a 20-acre compound. Mr. Yosef, if you can come on. They have a 20-acre compound, and right now they have enough area to be able to construct a mechanic shop, basically the county-wide mechanic shop that's currently in Central FAR. Basically what they're looking is trying to get the consensus from the court whether or not to construct a new countywide shop for the county. Again, this serves all the precincts, but it is under the direction of Commissioner Palacios. So he wants to get some direction from the court whether or not to proceed with this, or see what direction the court would want to take with this. Basically, it's about an 80 by 120-foot new facility that would have office space, limited office space, break room facility, and of course, the tool storage and part storage room. I'll let Mr. Siriano make some comments.
Judge, Commissioners, we got included the Precinct 2 field operations building in COs that were 2006.
2006 and 1343.
2006, a few years ago, and the building is finally coming to fruition. We're going to finish the Precinct 2 building sometime in the next few months on I Road, South I Road, on a parcel of land. We're moving the precinct operations from basically the middle of downtown FAR to an isolated area, and I would leave behind the countywide shop, which is in the middle of town, where you're bringing in heavy equipment for repairs from all over the county. The support operations will not be there like they are now. They need support in terms of buying supplies, in terms of buying equipment, tools, the computer management system that keeps track of all the repairs. They would be isolated in an area of downtown FAR, in a building that was built 100 years ago that is not even safe anymore. So what I had proposed, Commissioner and I talked to Sergio about, we already have the land, and we should move the county shop adjacent to the Precinct 2 building, and all we would need to do is construct the building. We have some funds available in the precinct at some future time on assets that we will be selling to the drainage district. So we thought maybe we could work out some sort of financing options with the budget office to minimize the cost to the countywide fund. But it's sorely needed, and I think we're in a position that we have the land and we have the need, and I think we need to consider doing that.
So the whole operation will move out of town?
The operations are going to be moving, but that would leave behind the countywide shop, which is, I think we have like 5 mechanics and some truck drivers in a dilapidated building in the middle of downtown, which I think, is, now we could sell that property, and apply those funds to the building, and that would move us out of downtown FAR.
Yeah, that's good property there.
Yes, sir.
I believe right now the cost estimates are a little bit over $850,000 for the construction and for the architectural work.
If the court would agree that the move is necessary and needs to be done, then I think the direction we would like is just for us to work with the budget office and maybe figuring out the financing options.
All right. Thank you. We've got to move on a little quicker. We've got a noon meeting by the city that we need to vacate the premises.
Judge, I believe that Monica, am I correct? That was canceled? The EDC? So we do have
Okay, well, good.
We do have the.
All right, next item, please.
Item 17E, E1A is approval of certification of revenues that's certified by the county auditor to fund capital lease expenditures for various departments.
Where are you?
17E, 17E1A.
D? Did you skip D?
Oh, D, we'll be taking no action on item D. We'll bring that back next week for approval.
Okay.
So on item 17E1A is approval of certification of revenues that's certified by the county auditor to fund capital lease expenditures for various departments. This is for fiscal year 2013. This is just cleanup work on some of the accounting that needs to be done for the closure of the year. I recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 17E1B is approval of 2013 appropriation of revenues and expenditures to fund capital lease expenditures for various departments.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item, 17E1C, is approval of various 2013 intradepartmental and interdepartmental transfers to fund capital lease expenditures and for various departments. This is again for fiscal year 2013 closeout.
Move for approval. Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Marty?
Yes. Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department, 18A1. This is a presentation of bids received for the purpose of award and approval of contract documents to multiple responsible vendors submitting the lowest and best bids and meeting all specifications and/or requirements. This is for the purchase of uniforms and/or accessories. You had 21 packets requested and sent out, 5 bids received. We're recommending 2 vendors. That is Lone Star Uniforms and Kell Black Uniforms. That's our recommendation.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. Marty?
Sir.
Why 2?
Because they don't all give you the lowest price in a particular category and accessory, so we're taking the best from each. And we also asked for recommendations from the user departments, which were
So in
the,
essence, precinct will have 2 vendors
correct.
available to them.
If that's the case for them, that one vendor doesn't give them all of the items that they need. They may need just to deal with one, depending on what you use. Okay?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Marty, Commissioner, if I may, Commissioners, with your permission, we do have a 11 a.m. workshop scheduled. For the sake of, can we recess this meeting, open the workshop, then recess the workshop, and come back to the meeting because we are about 32, 33 minutes past our posted workshop time?
So we'll recess the meeting
Yes, could we recess the meeting right now?
and we'll open up the
workshop?
Right.
And then I'd ask that we recess the workshop, come back to the meeting, and then we can go back to the workshop. So could we have?
Go ahead with the work.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, can we open the workshop, Commissioner?
Yes.
So, Commissioner, we've opened the workshop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Commissioner, may I then ask that we recess the workshop and then continue back with our meeting?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Marty.
Okay.
Now we're back on the meeting.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Who's
Okay,
up first?
I'm back on. Item 18B1, this is exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Codes at 262-024A, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item B is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court. There's 5 members of our appraisal pool. All 5 were graded. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores? However, I do have two vendors that have the same score. That would possibly theoretically be for slots 3rd and 4. So at this time, before you rank them in their order of scores, if you would, I have the 2 vendors'
Marty.
names here.
Do you have a conflict on any one of those items?
No, I don't.
Monday?
No, I don't. I have disclosed it before, that I don't have a,
You don't have a conflict of interest?
no, sir. I am not in any way associated with my son's business. And I have disclosed to the court when he was accepted into the pool. Okay? This would then give you, I'm going to proceed to give the number 1 slot to the highest scored vendor, which would be Leonel Garza as 1. The next high score would be Harvey Hearson, HLH, at 2. Now we're going for slots 3 and 4 between professional appraisal services or appraisal house. And the one the judge selected, professional appraisal services would be 3, leaving appraisal house, which should be this blue, and I'll show it to the court.
Right.
Appraisal house would
Yes.
be 4, and Integra Realty Resources out of Austin is 5. Is that the order? That would be the order of their ranking for the scores if the court wishes to act upon that.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for Purchasing Department to negotiate a professional appraisal services on an as-needed basis contract with the number 1, commencing with Leonel Garza Jr.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next one is for also Precinct 1, award of contract to the lowest and best bid received from the sole responsible bidder, Agustin Gomez, DBA Wastewater Services, as detailed in tabulation sheet contained herein, and meeting specifications and requirements. And this is for a request for sealed quotes titled Hidalgo County Precinct 1 Wastewater Management System. And this, we did work very closely with the environmental department to get this done.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For Precinct 2, we have several items under C1 requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 for R. Gutierrez Engineering, resulting in an estimated cost increase of $19,200 for services under work authorization 2 for McCall Road projects Dicker to Orangewood.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 4 with an estimated cost of $18,573 as submitted by R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation to provide preliminary engineering, topographic surveying, final design, and construction plans development and construction management and support for the Owasa Cesar Chavez to Alamo Road project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 3 with an estimated cost of $6,700 as submitted by R. Gutierrez Engineering to provide services for the developing of a survey plat and meets and bounds for two proposed rights-of-way parcels, Precinct 2 Dicker Road project.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4 is requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 2 with an estimated cost of $16,627.82 as submitted by R. Gutierrez Engineering for the developing of a survey underground utilities for Precinct 2's Dicker Road project.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For Precinct 3, we have requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A, professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional appraisal service providers. The 3 that were selected, Leonel Garza and Associates at 98, HLH Appraisal at 93, Professional Appraisal Services at 94. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to negotiate a professional appraisal services agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked firm of Leonel Garza and Associates.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A, a professional service.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional engineering services. The 3 nominated and scored were Javier Hinojosa Engineering at 98, Tedzi Infrastructure 91, Quintanilla Headley and Associates at 90. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is authority for purchasing to commence and negotiate a professional engineering services agreement with the number 1 ranked firm of Javier Hinojosa Engineering.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For Precinct 4E1, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 263006, requesting authority to publish a notice for the sale or exchange of property described as 0.935 acre tract lying in Track 84, San Salvador del Tule, Grant, Hidalgo County, Texas.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is presentation of the market value appraisal in order for Commissioners Court to set the minimum bid for the sale of the property located in Precinct 4 and is approved for disposition through sale or exchange, a 0.935 acre tract lying in Track 84 with the fair market value appraisal amount dictating and setting a minimum bid amount of $10,500.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And for the Sheriff's Office, F1, acceptance and approval of the final negotiated contract with Dr. Gumaro Garza, MD, for professional physician services for Hidalgo County inmates.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aldi.
Aguirre? Anyone here from our executive office? Monica, you want to handle it?
On item 19A, 1 and 2, we'll defer that till after executive session. Item 19B, no action at this time. Item C is approval to process payment of the following invoice in accordance with the Accounting Procedures Manual. The food policy for invoice for Subway sandwiches in the amount of $52.40.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, Valde, you want to handle that?
Item D? Yes, item D. Judge, Commissioners, I have on the agenda the rescheduling of court meetings, June 10th and 24th. If I am not mistaken, we do have...
Excuse me, Valde, what happened to B and C? We're not going to take action?
B and C.
We took action on C. We took no action on A and B.
I won't have, we'll have a presentation next week, Judge,
Okay.
for B. And A1 and 2, unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda, or after our executive session. And so, item D, I do have a scheduling conflict for the week, or for court session, the 10th and the 24th of June. And so I'm asking the court to consider canceling the courts for those two sessions, because again, I will have a quorum issue on those two particular court sessions. There is the South Texas County Judge County Commissioner seminar, which I believe is the week of June 9th. And on the week of June 23rd, there's also a scheduling conflict, and I believe that you will be out, Judge, as well, on a conflict.
What's going on the 24th, Valde?
I believe I have a scheduling conflict. You'll be out of town.
Are you going to be setting it anytime that week?
No, I think I have a quorum issue that week as well. Unless I'm, Monica, on the week of June 23rd, we did have a quorum issue, but was the quorum issue just for that particular day, Tuesday, or was it for the whole week? Do you recall? Through Thursday. So if the court would want to have a meeting, it would have to be on a Friday. And so at that point, it's so close to the following week. Now, I do have an action item for the court to consider that would allow Mr. Eufrasio to process bills for vendors or pay invoices for vendors. But again, I'm asking the court if they would consider those two meeting days.
As long as we don't set it for any other time on the week of the 23rd, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if there is a change, I can always come back next week.
So you gotta skip 1 week, and then we'll come the next week, and then skip another week?
Right, and come the last week. So if the court is okay with that, then I'd like to...
You good with that, Joseph?
Okay.
I'm good.
then,
Well, so you cancel in the June 10th and
June
24th?
24th, right, okay? Unless, and if there is a change, I'll be sure to update everyone before the end of next week.
All right.
Now, item E then, with that being said, I'd
Do we
like to
need to take action on that one?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, if I could take action for those two.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E for, under the county auditor's office, or for the county auditor, I'm asking for the auditor to have ability to process payments after review and audit procedures are completed by our county auditor. The checks will be included in the check register for approval on June 17th and July 1st. In essence, what we're trying to do, Mr. Fraus, is the same thing we did late last year during the Christmas holidays, is give your office the ability to process payment and then come back and report to the court. Again, you would use, obviously, the authority that you have under your office, whether or not to issue the check.
Let me make sure I understand. So the weeks when there be no court action, I'm going to process payments for that week, and I'm going to include it in the following week check register.
Right, right. And again, you would use, obviously, the authority and the discretion as to what to be issued and not issued. We just don't want to hold up the vendors.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. What about a policy addressing situations like 19C?
19C.
Yes. We've been having several meetings at the
Judge.
county judge's office.
Right, Judge, I'm going to propose in a couple weeks, we're modifying the policy.
All right.
Now, keep in mind, the policy is for
It's tied-
compliance with the IRS regulations.
Right.
So if you're going to modify it,
It
and
will
it's
be in
going to, it's going to take us out of compliance.
No, it will be in compliance with IRS. Okay? The policy will be in compliance with the IRS.
It is complying with the IRS regulation now.
Right, right, but again, we were looking at whether or not the IRS ties us to a time limit. Right
All
now,
right.
our policy states 2 hours. So,
Pursuant to 551-071 and 072, need a motion to proceed to executive session. Need a second? Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. It's 11:47. We're going to be in executive session. We're back in open session. Mr. Guerra?
thank you. Judge, Commissioners. Okay. Under open session, A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there is no action. B, pending and or potential litigation. Under pending potential litigation, delinquent tax collection contract, Judge, Commissioners.
What about B? Is it B or C?
I'm sorry, did I skip something? B? Oh, I'm on C.
So B, no action?
B, no action, and under C, pending potential litigation, 1, delinquent tax collection contract. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like for the court to entertain a motion on behalf of the county through
Atlas and Hall.
Right, through the firm of Atlas Hall and Rodriguez to intervene in the lawsuit between Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott LLP in association with the law offices of John David Franz, the suit filed by Mr. Franz. And so with that being said, I have to refer back to 19A1 and 2. 19A1, requesting exemption from the competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262024A4, professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. Could I have a motion to that effect?
So move.
Need a second? All right, those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
And 19A2, requesting engagement with the firm of Atlas Hall and Rodriguez for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit a letter of engagement specific to, again, under open session, pending potential litigation, 1, delinquent tax collection contract.
So move.
Alde, was wondering, is there any conflict with Atlas and Hall being involved in this?
No, sir.
No? Okay.
I need a second?
To hire Atlas Hall?
Yeah, to hire Rex Leach, Edison. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, under open session, notice of claim on behalf of David Carizales and Rogelio Stabulito. Judge Commissioners, I'd again refer back to item 19A1 and 2. 19A1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code, Section 262024A4, professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. I could have a motion to that effect.
So move.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
And item 19A2, requesting engagement with the firm of Preston Henriksen for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit a letter of engagement specific to notice of claim on behalf of David Carizales and Rogelia Stabulito. Have a motion to that
So
effect?
move.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, claim of Geico Direct. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $6,019.69.
Move
So
for
move.
approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Claim of and item F, claim of Mid-Century Insurance Company. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,750.25. The check, if the court were to take action, check made payable to Mid-Century Insurance Company, Farmers Insurance Company.
Move for approval.
1,750.25?
Yes, sir.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Claim of Candelario Hernandez. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $752.04.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H, claim of State Farm Insurance Company. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $9,305.04.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item, the claim of Jaime Zapata Jr. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,000.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The claim of Manuel Saenz Jr. Again, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $3,248.50.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, Judge Commissioners, items K, L, and M are related in the fact that it was the same incident, but I have three different claims. So the first claim is the claim of Rene Sanchez. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $2,671.43.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, with that being said, I will facilitate and I will secure a full and complete on this claim. The second is a claim of Damiana Martinez. For a full and complete, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $500.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the last of the incident is a claim of San Juana Rodriguez. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $878.82.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, I have no further items.
Need a
but we-
motion to adjourn?
So move.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Judge, Commissioners, we do have the recessed workshop for the CIP capital improvement, which ties into our budgeting process. So if we could open up the recessed workshop, Judge?
All right, at this time, we're going to convene the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court Workshop for today, May 27, 2014, presently set for 11 o'clock this morning. Present are Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum, and the only issue is presentation and discussion of the development of a multi-year capital improvement plan.
Judge, Commissioners, yes, we just wanted to bring the court up to date. We are working on developing a multi-year capital improvement plan. Last month, we sent correspondence to the precincts and to the departments regarding submittals for capital improvement project requests. As of last week, we've received over $221 million worth of projects that have been submitted. We're still pending projects to be submitted by 2 of the precincts, and then we're still getting revisions on some of the other 2 precincts that are submitting the projects. One of the things that we want to develop on this is actually developing a 5-year capital improvement plan, having our needs identified for over the next 5 years, and having a plan of action as to how we're going to finance these projects. This is not only one of the best practices from GFOA, but also the rating agencies are looking at that now more and more. We just underwent a refunding earlier this month regarding certificates of obligation, series 2002 and 2004. And the rating agencies pretty much stress that we should have a developed CIP plan as we move forward and issue new debt. With that refunding that we did earlier this month, we did have over $1.8 million in net present value savings on the 2 series that were refunded. And those 2 series have, based on that refunding, they have freed up capacity within our debt service fund if we were to keep the same debt service rate for fiscal year 2015. The capacity that we have is anywhere from $10 to $20 million in new debt that can be issued. And that's all dependent on the debt structure that we have, whether we have a traditional financing or do we do some wraparound to where we push some of our principal payments to the later years. So I just wanted to get the court just an update on this and sort of wanted to see some direction from the court as to whether the court is going to be contemplating issuing any debt this year, as we do need to keep that in mind during the tax rate adoption procedures. I just wanted to see whether the court is looking at that. I know one of the presentations that we had a couple of weeks ago regarding the courthouse, we are doing the first phase of the courthouse. That should be already finishing up. Currently within our CIP funds, we don't have any money allocated to the next stage, which if we were to issue, this would be the opportunity to do so, to be able to continue with that project.
Sergio,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
last time we met with the rating agencies, the CIP plan came up.
Yes.
And they were saying that we gotta have the CIP plan. I think we've been talking about it for years. I think they were saying that we need to get it done. And I think there was some discussion possibly to hire the financial advisor to help the county in developing the plan, right?
Yes, correct. I did discuss it with the current financial advisors, and they will develop this with us. However, I have not communicated with them yet. We did advise them as to what activities we're undertaking as far as getting all the requests in. I know that we did advertise again for financial advisory services, and I believe...
Where are we on that, on the selection? Where are we on the selection?
I believe the bids have been submitted again. Again, we only received the bids from those 2 firms, I believe, the same 2 firms, so we still need to undertake that process. Given that I don't know whether we're going to continue with the same firm or not, I haven't really asked our current financial advisors. I have been getting guidance from them, but I haven't asked them to do any actual work on it, on the product yet, until I get some certainty as to who my financial advisor, who I'll be working with over the next couple of years.
So the amount of money that we're talking about, it will either be 10 or 20 or anything in between.
Correct. That we can issue. The court's not obligated to issue any debt if there's no projects that the court wants to undertake at this time. But I just wanted to inform the court that there is that capacity that's available in case there are any projects that they want to undertake at this time. However, we do need to have that finalization of the plan. And it does not have to necessarily be a 5-year plan, but we could have anywhere between the three-year capital improvement plan.
Obviously, the county-wide chart would.
We'll receive priority status on that, Commissioner?
Good.
We could use, if we do the countywide shop again, as we mentioned, once the shop is created, the sale of that asset could be used to retire some of the debt next year, thus freeing up some more capacity next year as well. We do have another CO, Series 2006, that we could also refund, and we did look at the refunding of that issuance when we did the other two. However, the refunding efficiency was not at a level where we felt comfortable executing at that point, but we can look at refunding that and be able to add additional capacity. However, we're looking at using that refunding once we have the multi-year CIP plan in place. That way we know when we need to issue debt over the next 3 years.
I think the CIP plan is just a plan. You can
Correct.
modify it, you can reprioritize based on need.
Basically,
right?
yes, the plan is basically just a plan of projects that we have identified over the next 3 to 5 years that we want funded. Basically, we would prioritize each of those projects. We would be able to then look at our capacity in each of the next 5 years and advise the court. We'll be able to issue, 10,000 this year, 10,000 next year. We'll prioritize the projects, and if needs change, we're able to change those projects as well. Yes, it is a very fluid, very flexible plan, similar to our
Thank you.
budget. Yes, sir.
We have a property on the south side of the Precinct 2 building that currently, I think we are leasing from the railroad company.
Okay.
That, I think we pay, Banda, do you recall how much we pay on the rent to the railroad company?
No, I don't, Commissioner, to be honest with you.
I think it's up
I
to
don't.
$10,000 a year.
Okay. So, yeah, we would be able to do away with that expenditure.
Well, keep that in mind when you look.
I'd like to put in a pitch that I think the number one county-wide project needs to be the courthouse. I think all of us agree on the need, and we know that it's going to be quite an investment for the county. We're in the middle of, I think we're just about to complete phase 2 of the planning project, part of the project, and we need to start authorizing an architect to go in and enter into phase 3 and 4. And that's going to require some, probably, I think we talked about $4 million. Balde, was that the figure?
My understanding is the next phase, design development, was at the high end, $4 million. It was 3.8 million, more or less, but 4 rounded up. I've judged, Commissioners, for whatever reason, my memory from discussions in the past, I thought that number was 5 million, and that's the number I've been using. Again, if it's 4, then it's 4.
Well, let's not take a chance. If it's 5, why don't we?
Again, Judge, I just don't recall where I got the number, but I do have that number, and I got it from somewhere. And so I don't. If in fact we go 4th,
before we go that route, we finalize Edinburgh.
I agree with you, Judge. The courthouse is a priority. I know I've discussed this issue with the current architect. I know they have multiple, paths that we can look at to take in this next phase to a certain point, and they've identified dollars to those work to that work scope. I would continue to engage the budget office to work with them and figure out what the demands is, but I do agree with the judge. The courthouse is an utter priority to figure out, to get that project moving a little further along.
Right, and I do also agree with you, Commissioner, that we need to finalize our agreement with the city of Edinburgh, but I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I mean, the city is
Well, it
very much in
shouldn't be.
favor, but we need to get it down in writing and everybody tied down by a written agreement.
Yes.
I think before you go into the next phase, you got to identify the funding source for the courthouse, because otherwise you're going to have a set of plans, and whenever you decide to build later on, you might not be able to utilize a set of plans that you already paid $5-6 million for.
We can borrow money.
Monday?
We can borrow the
We can set up a collection. I think Valdez said that he's willing to
Right, but
pitch in.
Mr. Frasso, while I will agree with those comments, but I will say this. If the court proceeds and we go out for funding, and then part of that funding includes the next phase, I don't believe the court is going to authorize that type of funding and not be committed to the overall project. And with that being said, the minute that the court takes action with respect to the next phase, then it's incumbent of Sergio, myself, and working with the court to develop the financing plan, because again, this court, Mr. Frasso, and as you also, we're not going to advocate the expense of 4 or 5, whatever the dollar amount is, without having a finance plan for the overall construction of a courthouse.
But then, what I'm saying is that the risk is that the same issue you had with the old administration building, you've been working on those plans for several years, and now when you're getting ready to construct, the plans had to be modified completely, and it's costing you a lot more money to modify those things.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's the risk that I see, but if you're saying there's no risk, that's fine.
And that's the need for having the 5-year, having more than just this issuance, looking at beyond this issuance, would be looking at a 5-year capital improvement plan that would take into account not only the design, but also the construction of a project, and not only for buildings, but also for roads. Not only looking at funding about getting the right-of-way acquisition or getting the PSNE done on a road, we would look at also the construction dollars that are going to be tied to it. Even though a lot of the roads that we do are matched with TxDOT funds, it is a substantial match that we have to contribute on some of these major thoroughfares that we have. So it is more than just looking at beyond this issuance, looking at next year and the year after that, and be able to follow through on all of these projects. And that's really the developmental plan that we want to have in place and have adopted by the court, hopefully before the end of this fiscal year.
Judge, Commissioner, I do want to make one clarification with respect to the old administration building. The plans were set when we started. The changes, and we've been working within those dollars, the changes were as a result of the renovation. There were some unforeseen areas with respect to the floor issue and the vault issue that nobody could have anticipated, as well as when we got rid of the escalator, the base. No one knew that base had what it had. So, but yes, Mr. Frasso, I get the point. But to that, to further that discussion, that's exactly why I'm saying that if the court were to entertain that next phase of the courthouse, we're not going to advocate and authorize $4 or $5 million and not have the construction financing plan at hand.
Also, while you're looking on the 5 years, there's multiple phases of the design aspect, is what I was told, that wouldn't have all the $5 million expended all at once. It would be throughout the period until it takes us into construction. So I think there's a lot more to this. But I agree with the judge. I think as we're looking to $10 to $12 million issuance, that we include the courthouse as priority, as well as the countywide shop and all other projects that we deem necessary and a priority. But I think that's the direction you're looking for, right?
Yes, as soon as we have all the projects that are submitted by the departments, we will present those to the court. That way you can see all of the projects. There are other projects that have been included in there as well.
So in short, you're needing guidance, yes?
Basically, just continue with the development, and then I'll probably bring additional action items to court. Basically, just getting direction whether the court is contemplating issuing something this year, or whether you're going to want to wait until next year. But I did want to bring to the court the attention that there is some capacity that was freed up during this refunding, and there's additional capacity we can probably free up with another refunding. But I would recommend to the court that we wait on that refunding until we have the multi-year plan in place. There's no action that needs to be taken by the
I would
court. Just want
encourage you,
to
though,
present
the
that to the court.
financial advisor issue, I mean, we'd like to, regardless of who it is, would like to walk through the process. Obviously, they have a perspective that'd be valuable in this process as well. So the sooner we get whoever's going to represent us from here forth to get them engaged.
Yes, I would be eager to get them engaged. That way I can get more of their insight and more of their help in developing this plan. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
On the countywide shop, I'm the one member of the court that knows the least about where it should be located, but I listened, and there was one this morning, 2 people were saying it ought to be at Edinburgh, and one was saying it ought to be in FAR because of its location. So I'm not sure if it's a
Well,
definite
Judge, I
deal.
will also say that we're in the middle of constructing a shop as well where we're servicing other departments. We already have design, we have the land. We look at building that facility. So in essence, we'd like to work alongside with what Precinct 2 is doing and service, rather than outsourcing a lot of the maintenance needs of the county, to try to add us as a hub to be able to provide that type of service as well. Our design will allow us to go ahead and run routine maintenance on any type of vehicle, both heavy equipment and passenger vehicles.
Well,
So,
something needs to be addressed.
yeah, I agree.
Judge,
Yes.
someone said this facility is downtown FAR. I don't know exactly where is it located, 'cause downtown FAR, I don't know if I've seen a...
You suggested we don't have downtown?
No, someone said that this shop is located in downtown FAR.
Pretty much.
And I was wondering
Well,
where downtown
it's in the
FAR
middle
is
of town, not really downtown.
Oh, okay, in the middle of town, okay, all right.
Okay, if nothing else, need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Those in
Second.
favor, say aye. Aye, thank you, gentlemen.